We're live, dude. So we'll just wait here for like 30, 60 seconds for some people to roll in, and then we'll just kind of shoot the shit. So Noah went surfing. Alex, what did you do this morning? Did you do anything cool like that?
No, I was just working actually the whole morning.
Oh wow.
Someone's got to work.
Someone's got to
someone's
work
got
on
to.
that.
Someone's got to run the company.
I like that. So what do you like?
How's
What
Vegas
you
weather?
went? Yeah, that's right.
Vegas is good. It's actually it just got cold. It might snow tomorrow, which is crazy.
What?
It never snows
Dude,
here. I know.
That's crazy.
When you guys were here, was it hot?
It's pretty
Like
chilly. Like it was
60,
mild.
65.
Yeah.
Vegas gets surprisingly cold. I've seen it snow there.
Yeah, like in the winter, it really does get really cold.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It was 0 degrees in Denver today.
Wow.
Yeah, Denver gets cold. We both went to see you.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, Boulder was like -20 wind chill this morning. But
Really?
yeah, it's freezing.
-20?
The wind chilled, like that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when I first went to Boulder, I moved from California to Boulder my freshman year, obviously, and the first week I was there, it got down to 0 degrees. And it was the first time in my life I'd ever seen anything like that. And there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground. I was just like taken back by it. Like it was.
Yeah, that's not me.
That's hilarious. So
Something like that.
today we got guys. We'll get rolling into like I guess the podcast now. But today we got Aleks and Noah on. These are our good buddies from Collective Genius. They crush it doing what you guys are in like 7 markets virtually, doing like Facebook ads and some other things. So I'll let you guys give yourself an introduction. But these guys are studs. So I guess take it away, man. So
Appreciate that, man.
tell us a little bit about yourself if you want anyone to know anything special or just
Anything special about you?
Yeah, I know. Is there anything crazy?
I guess first of all, thanks a lot for having us on. We really appreciate it. We love that we got connected with you guys. You know, we connect on a lot of levels, do a lot of the same things, and just bouncing ideas. Me and Chandler are texting daily about different random things going on in your guys' business, our business all the time. So that value is great. So thanks a lot, first of all, for having us on. Other than that, Noah and I, we met in college. He was actually my brother's roommate at CU. He comes from mortgage sales background, and I was a realtor for years, did some other various sales things. I was wholesaling for like a year and a half, 2 years, and Noah was just visiting in Vegas, you know, because we were friends. And he was like, what are you doing over there? And I was just kind of showed him just like a breakdown of the whole thing. And he's like, you know what, I want to try. Like, why don't I try one phone call, right? And this is back when I was doing like everything, all the acquisitions. And what was that first phone call, Noah? You want to tell him about that story?
So yeah, and just to give you a little bit more background, there was like it was when like COVID was like just ramping up,
Peak.
and I was doing mortgages, and a team I had just built and hired and trained had gotten sent home by the company, so I had some time on my hands, and I was interested in what Aleks was doing, so I went and visited him, and he gave me an opportunity to make one phone call, and the guy I don't even think answered. But he was like, send him a text. And he sent me a text template. And he said, send him this. And the guy came back with a number, and he's just is laughing at it. He's like, that's way too good to be true, but like keep responding to him. Like don't know.
Yeah.
And I keep responding to him. And, you know, we send him an agreement for the numbers that he's asking for. And he signs it. Aleks goes to the house, meets the guy. Everything's, you know, copacetic. He's in agreement with everything that's going on. We're like, are you sure, this and that, all this stuff? And he's like, yeah, you know, this is what I want. And, you know, you guys can just take it from here. And we ended up making, I think it was like $60,000 from doing like 15 minutes worth of work.
Hey.
Facebook ad, actually. And once that happened and I saw it, I went back to the mortgage company I was working for, quit. And I've been working with Aleks ever since.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That was the first experience I had wholesaling.
So you're like,
this is right there.
This is the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
So what happened? So after that, so you guys link up and you start doing stuff together. Like, kind of how does it build from there? Because and you guys at the time, were you just doing one market? Like, how are you guys set up?
Yeah. So at that time, that was back when we were just in Vegas. Like, we were only doing Vegas. This was like 19 or 20, something like that. And we were only doing Vegas. And it was a bit different back then, right? Then versus now, where like back then you're still trying to find deals at 70 to 80% of ARV. You know, this house was worth like 300. He texts, no, yeah, I want 160 or something like that. It was something along those lines. You know, after that, it's funny because, you know, he got brought in with such a good deal and like he got really reeled in. Was like, wow, this can be great. We had some months of struggles after that, but you know, it was a lot of reasons. You know, COVID was still going weird. Vegas market was just being weird as well. It was so hot, and then like all these iBuyers were just coming in. All kinds of different things were going on. So we had a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say tough months, but like the learning months after that, right? So we got a big deal. We had a few other deals, of course, like that were pretty big as well. But the months that followed that was kind of where that was the hardest part on one hand, but that's also where like what really built us up to what we are today. So then he came on, you know, we were still kind of both doing acquisitions, but then at one point where it was like, all right, Noah, you take acquisitions, I'll just do everything else, right? Like I'll make sure the leads are coming in, I'll make sure we sell the deals, just everything else, right? And we started doing that. And then eventually it brought us to, you know, the hedge fund relationships, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. And that's when we really got, I guess, more systemized and much more of a, you know, consistent deal flow. I guess you could say is a whole different ballpark, what we're looking for, how we're selling the deals, all that stuff. And then beginning of this, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so when you say that things got tough and that's where you kind of went through the fire and you learned a bunch, like what were some of the key things you were doing wrong and like maybe you were able to fix and that made a big difference for you or for you guys?
Let's see. No, you want to touch on that?
I don't know if it was anything that we were necessarily doing wrong. We just found it really hard to, you know, find motivated sellers in that market because it was right when, you know, the government was having all of the big banks, you know, give people
money and stuff.
Certain allowances on, you know, their mortgages. Like everyone was allowed to go into forbearance. You know, if someone couldn't make a payment, no one was getting foreclosed on. You know, obviously, you know, that's a big thing for wholesalers. And then because interest rates were so low, the market was so hot that anyone that put their house on the market, they would have it sold in 2 weeks.
Yeah, way over asking in Vegas.
Way over asking, and it was in Las Vegas. The market was so hot, so it was just so hard for us to, you know, find discounted properties and find people that needed to sell fast. And, you know, we were just having a hard time, you know, servicing those people because there were just so many other options for those people at that time. And so we started going to other markets at that time. That's what forced us into other markets. And we went into Florida. And in Florida, there was, you know, we just made a random list, an absentee list. It was a foreclosure list, actually, because they were still doing foreclosures in Florida. And we came across this lady. She needed to sell her house, and it was a pretty good sized deal. So we were like, all right, like, let's see what's going on in this area. And this was in like the middle of Florida, middle of nowhere. Alex, just, you know, being curious and just, you know, being the sleuth that he is, you know, just you know, had the idea in his head to just like look up all the cash buyers in the area. You know, we had a third-party data program. I think we were using Property Radar or something at the time, but he went on and he was just looking at all the cash buyers in the area. And we saw that there was 3 different LLCs that were purchasing, you know, 10,
everything.
20, 40 properties.
Everything, literally everything.
In an area in Florida that we had never heard of before. So this sparked more curiosity. Alex did more digging, and he found out that all of the companies that were purchasing all of these properties had the same address. So he tracked it back to this one hedge fund. And then from there, he got on LinkedIn and he started tracking down all the people he could that worked for that hedge fund and making call after call after call after call. Finally, we got in touch with this one rep at this one hedge fund, and she sent us a buy box. And she goes, if you can find a property that fits this criteria, you know, we'll purchase it, you know, pretty close to market value. And we're sitting there thinking like, you know, this is too good to be true. You know, we're talking to all these, you know, people in these turnkey properties that are like, yeah, I want this much for, you know, my house. And we're like, there's no way we could, you know, wholesale this to an investor, but let's just try submitting them to the fund. And they start coming back with these crazy numbers. And the rest is kind of history. You know, we closed our first 5-10 deals with them in a month. And, you know, we're making, you know, $30,000, $40,000 spreads on properties that we're locking up at like 90 to 95% of ARV because these hedge funds just are buying and holding those properties forever.
Yeah, exactly. They're buying for yield.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. So, and
different
then there,
algorithm.
we've just been kind of cultivating and establishing relationships with as many funds as possible, and just kind of, dialing our system to fit, those needs.
So I like that. So I was going to ask you, like, how did you go about going into a market? But basically, I'm guessing is you find a hedge fund who's buying in an area and then just market to those guys.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much.
We got lucky with one. Well, not lucky, but we got one deal in Florida, and just everything was so smooth there, and just like such more lax laws over there. Everything's just it's a very friendly state there. Yeah, and so we're like, all right, we're going all in on Florida, right? And so we did that. And yeah, I mean, like you said, like the rest is history. Then we just started going after. Then I was just like, all right, let me just run Facebook ads in everywhere that the fund is buying. Started with that. Then we started slowly making lists in all these different markets that were curated to their buy box. And yeah, I mean, really the rest is history now.
Okay.
Gotcha. Can you go over a little bit for the listeners? Again, explain, Noah, maybe, or Aleks, about how you guys found the most, volume buyers, and then can you explain that process again? I know Noah, or you said that Aleks went to LinkedIn, but
yeah. So I guess for other wholesalers out there, or anyone that's investing in real estate, you have your third party like data systems like Property Radar,
PropStream. Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah.
Source,
like that. And you can look up, most of these services will allow you to look up all the cash buyers in your area.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick out certain zip codes, or you can, draw, carve out a little spot on a map. And then, if you go, you can, mess around with the system a little bit. There are ways that you can see who the cash buyers are in that area. And, this wasn't something that we would do every single time we closed a deal. This is definitely something I know Aleks did look at. And he understood, like how to sell a deal. But this was also somewhat of a serendipitous thing, because the area that we happened to be in happened to be like red hot. So when he did go and look up who the cash buyers were, it was very clear and obvious. There was just a trend of just, 3 or 4 LLCs and just so many cash purchases. And it was just like a huge, like flashing light, like something's up here. Like there's a huge demand in this area. But yeah, I mean, just to answer that question, with most of these, third party, data providers, you can go on and see who the cash buyers are in your area. And if you do enough research, just type their name to Google and, spend some time clicking around and, digging. A lot of times you'll be able to find out who these people are. And, like we said with Aleks, this was just his own curiosity and, him just, spending time on a computer, doing research, clicking around, and then, making a bunch of phone calls.
So Aleks, explain that. So you found that hedge fund, who it was. And so what was your next steps? I know you mentioned LinkedIn. Tell us about it so people are listening.
Yeah, so basically the one thing was, I mean, first thing was when I was like, all right, so more than half the houses bought in this little zip code are one person, right? I'm like, so what's going on here? And then there was another LLC that was buying all of the ones to the next of it. So long story short is I figured out where their mailing address is. So once I had their mailing address, that's what I searched. And I searched, eventually that mailing address is what led back to more digging, more Google kind of figuring out. I realized that it was this hedge fund, right? And I realized that they're, massive hedge fund buyers that are publicly traded, Once I did that and I figured out who the hedge fund was, because obviously the LLC name is not just what the hedge fund's name is, but the address, right? That's what you got to really look for, is the mailing address eventually will lead back to, some sort of company that they have, whether that's because a lot of them also have like their back end where they rent it out, right? So they may have like the acquisition part of it. Then they'll have, what they do is they buy them in mass and they rent them out in mass. So you'll get the mailing address and then eventually went on LinkedIn and just searched every acquisition. There's like thousands and thousands of employees there. And so I was just literally messaging all of them. I even bought LinkedIn Gold, so I looked more legit. And I was like, I'll cancel it after a month. And then I messaged all of them. And then we also got lucky with, honestly, the relationship we had, because some lady basically answered and I got her phone number somehow. And I called her and she was way too high up. She was like, look, I'm going to connect you with somebody that can help. She was like running massive teams. She was just like,
Yeah.
she connected me to like one of her really good friends. And that's who our relationship with is now. Basically, she got actually brought in from a different hedge fund. She's just there on a pension plan, essentially, you know, because she's just trying to work there so she can get the pension when she retires. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that's kind of that. And going into different markets and finding these institutional buyers, I think, are the two main things really that changed kind of our system. And then we built a team, basically.
Nice.
And just a fun fact, we happen to be the first wholesalers that our rep worked with at that company. So we have like a very
What did that look like
with her? Like she cares deeply about us, like calls me like 2-3 times a week just to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like the first wholesalers that she worked with when she started at that company.
So what did you have to do to prep her? Because I'm sure she was not educated on what the wholesaling process was.
She prepped us actually because she came from another hedge fund. So she came from a hedge fund called Tiber. And
no, it was a different one. Tricon.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one.
She came from Tricon, and she had worked with wholesalers there. And I guess she had been poached because a personal friend of hers was working at the new hedge fund.
Gotcha.
And they brought her over, and that was who Aleks somehow got in touch with. And then that person put us in touch with who our rep is now.
Yep.
And we were the first wholesalers. You know, we were the first, you know, the first people giving her deals at the new company that she just got hired at.
Gotcha.
And we didn't even know that at the time, but she actually prepped us. She was like, this is how we do things. This is what we're looking for. And then, you know, we realized, you know, what the opportunity was. And we kind of just put all of our eggs into that basket and made sure that, you know, we got some really quality deals. We locked them down, put them under contract. And then we just made sure that whatever we sent them was, you know, cream of the crop, you know, best, you know, we could possibly offer. We got off on a really, really good foot with them. So they, you know, were able to see our potential. And that, you know, that was what really solidified our relationship with them.
Yeah, like I think that's important too, is like to provide a good product and not just be, you know, some scumbags sending them like 2 1s and on double yellows with some crappy swimming pools that they're like, we're not going to buy this, you know. Mm-hmm. So knowing their criteria and just fitting that, doing your own due diligence.
Like that was our main priority, was to make sure that like the first few properties and the first few transactions we did with them went very smoothly and were exactly what, like we really put a lot of work and time and effort into making sure that those, like the first 10 transactions that we did with them, went as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, I like that. So you kind of lucked into finding, not lucked in, you did the work, but you found this good buyer, you took advantage of it. By like, what was your marketing looking like to take advantage of this buyer? Like, and how did you kind of build your system around that?
You mean like our outbound to direct to seller marketing?
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, you have the fulfillment for hedge fund purchases. So what did you kind of do on the front side?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, honestly, our marketing, I mean, has scaled a lot since then, but it's been the same then. And even when I started, as it is now, but we use, you know, a combination of we've always used a combination of SMS, Facebook ads, and cold calling. Those are the 3 we've always used. We've done PPC as well. And that's pretty much, I mean, other than JV referrals, we've never done direct mail, which we want to do soon. But we've seen a lot of success that we've talked about, you know, previously at CG, actually, Facebook ads. So that's been huge for us. But you know, when we really got dialed into what the hedge funds are looking for, because we can create our lists basically outbound wise, you know, we just type in the buy boxes that they're looking for at this point. So yeah, cold calling and SMS has been working for us back then, and it's working for us now. So yeah,
I like that. Yeah, SMS is still.
So Aleks, solid. And which one of you guys handles the sales side of it, you or Noah?
The acquisition side?
Yeah.
Yeah, more so Noah at this point.
Yeah,
so Noah,
Aleks is very involved with acquisitions, but that's my my main priority. We just hired a 5-person sales team, and I'm pretty sure they all have a contract at this point. But yeah, just recently onboarded, you know, 5 new people. We have 2 cold call teams, and then we have, you know, anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 texts going out every single
every
day.
day.
Heck yeah. I like that rapid increase. So, but what I was going to get to know is like when you guys are getting these properties or when you have one that's close, that's 90% retail value or 85% or whatever it is, are you guys submitting that to the fund before you get under contract?
Great question.
So we try to get everything under contract before we submit it anywhere.
Yeah.
But if we know that we're very close and we know that time is not on our side and we feel confident, maybe I've spoken to the person or Alex has spoken to the person, we will submit we will submit something to a hedge fund before we have it under contract. But we definitely try to get everything under contract before we send it.
It's not like if it's like even less than 50%, we won't. But if it's in that stage where our acquisition guys have built rapport and we're, whatever it is, they're just working through the last kinks and discussions, then we're like, we do want to send it because it's almost impossible to know for sure if the hedge fund's going to buy it because they have really strange, like even per zip code,
analysis.
Right? Like certain cap rates, exactly, that you can't really there's no way we can calculate to a T. So we want to know, like, because sometimes we'll send them in and she'll quickly be like, oh, we can't buy this at all. Right. So then we have to go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, well, what can we do with this? But, now we have luckily other, because one thing a lot of people say to us is like, what happens if this hedge fund just goes under tomorrow? Right. You guys are effed. But, there's multiple funds. There's multiple other ways to dispo it. Right. We've actually started trying to get, I know you guys do this a lot with selling it on the MLS. So we figured out different ways. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, the market is crazy. The market's hot. You have to adjust, right? There's not the days where we get 60, 70% ARVs anymore. So like, what can you do with those deals? That's really what we had to figure out. And now now we have multiple tools that we can use. And honestly, most of our deals aren't even going to just this one fund anymore. We've got them split up a good amount right now. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, just repeating and building that list out because every fund has a little bit different criteria too. So and different locations and all kinds of different things.
Right.
So I like that. So I guess for you guys next, it's like you're building a team now. It sounds like so. Is that the next journey for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, we started end of last year. We brought on 3. And then we brought in.
It was right after CG. I think it was right after the
first,
right before, or right after that first CG was when we brought in our first 3 guys.
October.
And all 3 of them are still here. Yeah. Or I think we had like 1 or 2 since like August or something like that, and then we brought in the next 3. But long story short, not one acquisition manager has left. So, I mean, we don't know what we're doing, to be honest with you. We just kind of go as we go. But for some reason, they like, I mean, we're cool, I guess, and we're getting them a lot of money. So, but yeah, we just kind of go as we go. But that is kind of the next journey, is getting our acquisition reps, solid and systemizing that more so, I guess you could say.
So Noah, you said you just hired a 5-person team. Is that, or are you just saying your acquisition team in general is 5-person, or you just brought in 5
men? So we just brought on our 4th and 5th.
Gotcha.
And then the whole team itself, like even our oldest guy, he's only been here for like 6 months. 2 have been here for like 4 months. And then another 2 have been for like a month.
So what is the onboarding process for those people? What does it look like?
We honestly keep it very, very simple, but at the same time, we have them do a little bit more than I think your standard acquisitions person at a wholesale company. We have a script, we teach them the script. We teach them our process. And honestly, because of a lot of the properties that we're dealing with are in pretty good condition, we're not having to, teach them too much about like actual real estate, if that makes sense. Like for them to look at a property that's pretty close to turnkey, it's not hard to teach someone how to like run comps and things like that. So, we teach them a script, and then, we teach them some comps and everything. With the comps, it's so surface level that, it's a pretty simple process. We have a daily sales meeting where we role play every single day. So, we practice sales every single day, different scenarios, things like that. And then it's just, a lot of follow-ups, a lot of, pipeline management, a lot of developing, rapport and, finding out how we can best meet the needs of, whoever our seller is. And kind of just like a daily, everyday process of teaching them how to understand what someone needs and how to be that for those people. But yeah, it's every day, but at the same time, it's pretty simple, with the way that we have things set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. How did you find Abbas has got a question here.
Yeah.
Are all of your agents remote?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're all remote, but they're all, now that I think about it, they're all in either me or Noah's city. So I actually me and Noah don't even live in the same city. I live in Vegas. He lives in LA. We both spend a lot of time in Vegas and LA, though, to be fair. But all of our acquisition managers are either in Vegas and LA. So we do something kind of cool, though. Like I basically say once a month or once every other month, we like to like all get together for a week. And then where I live, basically we can rent out like a really nice office space and we all work together. And that week is really like last time we did it, was really nice because everybody got to meet each other. Everybody was kind of pumped up working together. We went out together, all that stuff. Okay. But everybody is remote, but we do like to get together once a month, I guess you could say, for like a week, like boot camp, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I bet that's a good time just to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of fun. So yeah.
We're a lot of them are like similar in age to us as well. A bunch of young guys. We've hired everyone from social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were asking how we got them. It's all people that either know or I know some one way or another.
Are they like college friends or just like people who follow you because you posted some cool stuff?
Yeah, college friends, acquaintances,
friends of friends. Yeah, like just like people that are actually. I just hired somebody that's because I still have a license and I do some stuff in Vegas still. I have another realtor that was at my brokerage also, and so he came over as well. So just different various things. Yeah.
Nice. So, like, let's see. I had a good question, man, and it just left my head. I hate it when this happens.
So you guys got your team going now. What's your guys' goals for this year? Because I mean, can you give an idea of like how many deals you guys did last year, and then for the people listening?
Yeah. So more so, we don't even, and I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, just because we're in markets with. I mean, for example, our average fee is about $28,000 to $30,000. So we more so go based off of total assignment revenue. Fee. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Last year we did like $850 or something like that. So our goal, honestly, right now is obviously we want to do $1 million this year, but we want to kind of surpass that even. We want to hit $1 million by like August, really, is what we'd like to do for this year. Yeah, that's kind of our goal. The reason I don't like to go off number of deals is just because our fees are bigger, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many deals you're doing in my eyes. It's just how much money you're, not only taking revenue, but how much you're taking home, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, we've probably done since I've been doing it, we've definitely done over 100 deals. Last year, I couldn't even tell you though. It was I don't know the amount of deals. I mean, maybe in the 60 range, right? Which doesn't sound like a whole lot, right, compared to some of these huge operators. But again,
we only did 68.
You guys did 68.
You had 68, but you had 1.8 million because you're talking about the deal size.
I think you guys would have done like 30 if you did.
No. So since September, it's been 28,000. Before that, we're getting
gotcha.
2K, 5K, yeah. So we've done, and since then we've done 6 months of 100K plus. But so since then it's been about 28K average fee. Before that, we had all kinds of weird fees. I think what was our smallest fee we made though ever?
I mean, we've done
$100.
I mean, we've done deals I think where we walked away with like 1,700, like 1,500, just because honestly, like with
the relationship.
Funds, sometimes it's good just to do a deal with them, just to give them some deal flow, and it's at the end of the day, like one thing I've learned personally is just to not get greedy, because I'm sure a lot of other wholesalers have been in this position where you're selling a deal and someone tells you they'll pay X amount, but you think you can get a little bit more, and then you keep shopping it out, and then you can't get more, and then you go back to that person that said they'll give you X amount. Now they don't want it, and now they smell blood in the water, and then you just keep getting down. Mm-hmm. And that's taught me a lot. And both of us. And yeah, I mean, so like if we have an opportunity to do a deal with, one of our funds just to give them some deal flow, we will, even if it's $1,000, $1,500, $1,700, whatever it is, obviously trying to make more on each deal, but if we can do a deal with, one of those funds, and we have no other option, small assignment is better than
The
nothing.
relationship's worth more.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
I
critical.
like that. So everyone watching, please some questions over here for Noah and Alex.
Yeah,
So
these
let
guys
it go.
you
Big
guys are in
Alex.
what, 7 markets doing?
Yeah, is it 7 states we've closed in, Noah?
I thought it was 8.
7, 8,
Yeah.
maybe 8. Yeah, but even though we've closed in that many states, obviously more like the majority are coming from Florida, and we're actually in the process of making a serious Vegas comeback. So like 2020, for example, was all Vegas. Yeah, we're making a real Vegas comeback. Even though it's still hot here, there's just I just think we have the resources here to be really, really next level. I mean, obviously it's one of the most competitive markets. We stepped away from Vegas. Like we haven't marketed in Vegas since like March of 2021. So it's been a while. So we're in the process right now. We want to come back. So really heavy.
Yeah. But also like too is like as you guys have done it more, you're better. Like so the competition doesn't really matter as much too.
Exactly. In fact, we like it where it's more competitive because that means we can sell the deals higher, right? If there's more people doing it, there's a reason.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's like bigger deal sizes, bigger everything. So that's cool. That's cool for sure. So take it back even further. How'd you guys meet in the first place? I think you went over this briefly, but you guys went to college together and like just a real step back.
Yeah. I mean, so Alex's younger brother, Michael, he was my age. Alex and I are like 2 years apart. And his younger brother, Michael, was my best friend in college. And just over the years, I became very close with, him and his family, made friends with Alex. And then after I graduated, I moved to Las Vegas to do mortgages because his younger brother, Michael, actually set me up with a job at a mortgage company who his friends were running. And I was looking for a job at the time and a reason to move out of Colorado. So I took a job with them. And then, like I was saying, COVID hit. And this was after I had just spent like a year and a half hiring and firing and building up a sales team. I had like 12, 15 people under me, and they all got sent home. And it was just like taking like all the wind out of my sail. Like I just couldn't really find like the energy to continue doing mortgages. And I was honestly looking for, something else to get into. And Alex and I were just friends. We'd see each other out every now and then, and he just work out with him one day, and he was just so enthusiastic about what he was doing. He wasn't even necessarily trying to sell me anything. He was just like telling me about like what he was doing, and I was just listening. I was like, wow, that's really amazing. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not jobless, but like, I'm now back to square one at the company I was working for. It feels like everything was just taken away from me. I was just like, like I would be very open to trying something new at this point in time. And then, he gave me that one lead, and
he made that money. He made it count.
I saw what was possible. I was
Dagger.
working in mortgages, spending 30 to 45 days on one transaction to make, half of what the minimum I would make on, one of our wholesale deals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just way less work, a lot more money. And yeah, I mean, there were so many things that attracted me to, doing this and
lifestyle. Too,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
having a life.
Don't get me wrong. Like we for sure work crazy hard, right? But like we also have a lot of fun. Like that's the only way you can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, you went to like every Rams game.
Yeah.
Super
Bowl champs though.
Yeah, you boys were hyped, weren't you?
Yeah,
a long time coming. I will give this to Alex. He was a Rams fan ever since they were in St. Louis.
I like that,
yes, sir.
That's a lot of power right there.
Yeah.
So let's go back,
great.
Chandler. You took us way back.
Yeah.
So let's go
I
back.
know, I took us way back, too
at.
far back, probably. But
So you guys had this business set up. You said this year, and I don't think we got it out of you, Alex. You said over $1 million. So
by August we wanted.
By August, okay. And is there any new things you guys are doing, differently? You said you kind of explained it. You're going a little bit harder in Vegas now. Can you tell us more about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, because now we have a 5-person team, right? So we have the infrastructure to handle more leads at the end of the day. So then what do? You just spend more money to get more leads, right? So that kind of goes into figuring out, not necessarily new channels, but yes, new channels, and then also perfecting and increasing the numbers of SMS and call center. Now we're gonna have like two and then maybe 3 different call centers. So instead of doubling the callers we have with the call center, we decided to try out 2 different call centers. Just because I don't think it's possible to really know how well they're gonna do until you actually start it, right? So in my opinion, I was like, let's try both them out. Let's see who does better. You know, they'll probably both produce somewhat. So really just increase in numbers. And I mean, we are looking right now, our next goal is also just a little bit of, you know, we want to try some new channels like direct mail, whatever it might be as well. But now that we have the infrastructure, I mean, it really just comes down to, you know, more net leads that our acquisition managers can put under contract. Not necessarily, I know we're in a lot of markets, but we don't plan on just like, we're not really nationwide. Yeah. I mean, we are, but we're not in a way, like, you know what I mean? We're definitely majority in certain markets. And we want to go all in on those markets. So and that's what we're doing, you know? So yeah, I mean, that's really it. I think really, I mean, that's another thing is, one thing me and Noah, I think that really makes us successful is like, we're not scared to like lose money or like spend more money. You know what I mean? Like we're ready to go, you know, and you can't be to take it to the next level. You know, a lot of people that like have talked to me that like are just starting out wholesaling, like, you know, they're saying, oh yeah, this and that. And then I kind of get into what they're doing and I'm like, you know, they're scared to do more because they're like, I don't want to spend more money, but like, that's I mean, obviously you need to look at what you're spending at and make sure it's a controlled spend and all that good stuff. But, you know, you have to, you know what I mean, to increase. That's the only way. So
that's how you track those numbers. That's why you track them. So you can make those educated decisions like you guys are doing.
Exactly.
But just to touch on that question that you asked as well, about, you know, what some new things that, you know, we're doing.
Yeah, what's some new things?
It's honestly very difficult for us to want to try new things out with the system that we have with the funds, because we'll come across deals where we're like, all right, let's take this down ourselves. Let's try the construction. Let's fix, let's flip it, get it back on the market. Let's go that route. But then we submit it and then we're getting such crazy numbers back right now that
it doesn't make sense
for us to go that route. But with that being said, we actually are going to do our first fix and flip in Vegas in March. We have one that we've decided we're going to do our first actual.
The luxury flip?
No, yeah. So I was texting Chandler yesterday actually about the Hawaii deal, but since we talked,
we were close. We were close.
We were close. We just see, we got scared. I'm talking all this crap like we're not scared to spend money, but we were scared there.
Wait,
tell us about the deal.
Let's talk about.
No, so this Hawaii deal was actually extremely interesting, and this was brought in not from our marketing. This was a referral from somebody we know, an attorney actually, and basically it was a property that we were getting an ARV of like 2.1, right? And we were understanding that we can lock it up for like 950, but the caveat was that we had zero. We're not allowed to see the house, and we have to. We're not going to be able to see the house. We have to put $100K down and non-refundable. Long story short, right? So we had a certain amount of time. We were about to do it. Like it was going to be done, but
send someone there with a drone.
Yeah, we sent people with the drone, gated neighborhood, like some CIA stuff. Like it was crazy. And thank God we did that. They sent us pictures and like it might be a teardown. Not a teardown, but it was just like it's in serious. Like the roof, it's like a huge 6,000 square foot house. All needs to completely be redone. Like the entire deck, the entire and we're like, we cannot get into that right now.
There are people living inside.
We still haven't seen the inside.
And
yeah, we're gonna have to get them out. Yeah, and in Hawaii that we're
they weren't gonna let you get people out.
Yeah,
anytime soon.
If it was in Vegas or California, like almost hands down we're doing that. But
but the numbers have to make sense. Like we want to see like at least 6 figures, like minimum, if we're gonna do a flip, right? Because for us to not wholesale it or just sell it, whatever, it just doesn't make sense because that would take a huge amount of away effort, from our company
energy.
You know what I mean?
Time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
like that Hawaii flip would have had to been like, $200,000 to $400,000 for it even be in the realm of making sense.
Exactly.
But you have to like be there. You'd have to. Someone has to be there.
Yeah.
Someone has to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, someone's got to move Hawaii.
and live in a house that's like got no roof.
The house would cost you more to rent
Yeah,
out.
right.
Yeah.
That's
And the
crazy.
contractor was like, yeah, this is going to be 8 months to a year. And I was like, nope, we're out.
We've never done anything in Hawaii. We actually did one novation in Hawaii. That was,
Really?
We did close the deal in Hawaii.
we actually did
Made
do one novation, but
big ones.
we just didn't have enough boots on the ground. We didn't know any, we've never done a fix and flip out. We need to
Yeah.
start, somewhere.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I
you
know
guys
that's
have,
another
like,
thing.
Go ahead.
When I was asking, like, I wasn't necessarily saying that you guys should start doing fix and flips. Or are you doing any new things? Because I know I stay the hell away from that shit. I've done enough in my time to where I've partnered with other flippers, and I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna kick the wholesale deal. But I didn't know if there's any like new things in terms of marketing or any, dispo strategies, which it sounds like the MLS is starting to come up your guys' way. But.
MLS and we've been another. I guess I'm kind of hesitant to just give away the sauce, but we should. So basically, we're selling a lot to Open Door now too, and that comes with its whole own system that we don't need to get into right now. We're still even ironing out our side of things, but that system right now as well, we're working. So that MLS dispo, those two things that we're really bringing in, and then the other thing is direct mail. We are gonna do that with. I think you guys might have used them, Chuck, the direct one.
Chuck Barnett.
Yeah. We're in the process of getting that done right now as well.
So big. So one of the things that with direct mail is like, because I think they had like a marketing call for CG, and I guess you're probably on it, but like the lady who's like some marketing expert, I don't really remember who she was.
It's Ren's girl, I think.
It might have been Ren's girl. So marketing takes about like 6 months to ramp up, and then. From my understanding, from everyone I've talked to and all the stuff that I heard and what she said is like, once you get it to 6 months, it's usually very stable. And it's like the backbone. It's always
to get it running 6 months.
Yeah. So, which is expensive.
Yeah, expensive. And then me and you, we come from the SMS where it's just like, I'm sending out a text and getting a deal today.
It's like $800 for a deal.
Yeah.
And like direct mail, it's like, you're going to spend $50,000 just to get it set up.
Right.
But
yeah, so we're hesitant, but it is something that, we've done Audantic, so that's probably what we were going to mail.
That's what we did too.
Yeah.
Every 6 weeks. Just
you guys seen some success there?
We did one drop. So our second drop comes maybe pretty soon.
Got it. Nice.
So
that's
no success the first one. Why don't you share, Chandler, what happened with that one?
Yeah, so long story short, basically we set up this tracking phone number with 360, and then it worked, and it created the lead and did everything, basically a call rail. And then the day the mail drops, I asked our marketing person, I was like, yo, we get any leads for direct mail? And she's looking around. It's a mad dash. I think I was traveling or something.
I think it was it was less than, it was more than a day away. It was
maybe 2 days. It was 2 days after. It wasn't long after. I know that, but literally she's like, no, I don't see any leads. I was like, well, one, why did we not know this? And then two, is what's going on? The number was disconnected that we had on the postcard. So no phone calls got put in. So God only knows how many leads we lost. And we just spent it was we spent $4,000, and all that was basically just set on fire. So but I mean,
I
think we got 10 leads.
I see Gino fuming already. But you know what we thought about? I really like the idea. I saw some QR codes on the bottom of each postcard.
We did QR codes on ours.
And nothing from those? Nobody went to the
that's another problem.
We got how you track it.
Problem. No, it should have been it's tracked. It was a different landing page and a look-alike site. No one went to that, but we got 4 leads from our TV, because we branded with our TV commercial. We got 4 leads from our TV commercial or site, and they just happened to they clicked from the letter or whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know how many. I bet you a lot of them also didn't click from the letter. So that's
exactly. I bet we got because we also saw about a 20%, a 10 to 20. I think it might have been 15%. I'll just shoot in the middle. 15% increase in our TV leads, and I'm going to guess that was because of direct mail branded with our TV commercial. So in reality, if that's the case, then we got 20 leads from direct mail, and it's going to be hard to really put back to say, hey, look, what TV was TV and what was direct mail if it's not attributed. But what I'm doing is I'm tracking based on return on brand. So I'm going to be looking at what's the brand return versus just what's my one channel return.
Well, and you can ask the seller. So it's very easy for us to ask the seller especially when we close with them. Like, how'd you find out about us? Because they're gonna know the difference between if they got a mailer in the mail or the TV ad they saw.
Yeah.
I've never opened my mail in about 5 years. You know, like,
That's
So
what
we can always ask that. Go ahead.
That, you know, you could be doing 3 different types of advertising, whether you're sending text messages out, mailers, TV commercials, and if the TV commercial may just be the like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
That might just be the last thing that prompted them to call you, but it's the mailers and the text and the just like the brand recognition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You get them retargeted on Facebook, and like that's
get them a little excited.
Multiple touch points. They're gonna remember. If I want to sell my house, I'm gonna sell it to Gino, who buys houses, easy sell ATL with the mustache.
Stash. They won't forget the stash.
Dude, they can't forget the stash.
Good thing I didn't do the video with the stash. You might have scared some people away.
Dude, I was actually thinking about it. You should have done it with the stash, bro. People would have liked that.
You would have definitely got some sketchy people on that calling in.
But you guys mailed your Audantic list?
Yeah, we mailed like a section of it. So we're gonna do like a trial. We have like a $15K budget over 3 months where we're just to take a section and just mail it every 6 weeks for 15, like split in 3 ways, so like $4 to $5 grand drops.
But did you do it based off the ranking or?
Yeah, based off the ranking, like the top ranking ones. That's just what we did.
And I assume you guys have like lead generation outside of Audantic. Do you guys notice a discernible difference between the Audantic data and your other lead gen?
So I'll tell you this. So we changed up our texting process and our data provider at the same time because we got the Audantic tool, which is basically, gets you in front of the sellers who are most likely to sell in your marketplace, and it's not supposed to change. So what we did is we made the change and said, hey, look, let's just take this list and target it like every 7 days. We're just going to text these people, because the only difference between me getting leads and our buddy on the other side of town who's texting the same people is that we text at different times. And once we started doing that and we got Audantic, we pretty much doubled our deal flow just straight off that. And that was a big boost. And I can't say if it pointed straight to Audantic or not, but I will say looked into some of the data about we're sending about like 50 probably about 60-40, like 60% Audantic and like 40% normal like absentee owners. And we're getting about 50-50 deal flow from like Audantic and everything else. So it works. Is it work better? I mean, it's really hard to tell right now. It's hard to tell. And I mean, I would say if it's hard to tell, then arguably you could say that, it's the same. But I will say one thing that we are doing is we're getting more owner occupied text deals, which means that it is getting us deals that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Okay. So,
you guys pretty much are very similar to what we do, because that's all we do. And I don't know why anybody else would do anything else. Like absentee is like, this whole business is like, makes sense. If you don't live in the house, that's, you have a tenant, you don't want to deal with it. That's that's what you should be going after. It's the simplest, thing.
Especially in
definitely.
Yeah. And the highest. Have someone find somewhere else to live.
Like you're dealing with somebody that has to move their entire, living situation, right? That's much different than dealing with somebody that has some sort of investment thing where it's just like, you just cash this house.
You can turn the cash a lot quicker on those on the absentee owners, and like the owner ox, and 60 to 90 day close is not unheard of, because they got all their crap to move out of the house. They care about it. We've had so many situations where we've had to move people's houses and storage units and dumpsters and this and that, and man, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But
that's how you make those big spreads, though.
It is the owner occupied deals are definitely bigger spreads, I would say.
Well, I feel like in that case, you're dealing with someone that's much more motivated to move.
Yeah, exactly. Or their motivation's deeper.
Yeah.
So I guess it would make sense to really double up on Audantic's non-absentee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then
I got bouncing.
Someone's jumping over here.
I know you hear
it. I think someone in your background jumping over there, Gino. Gino's got
someone in the background
like a kangaroo. Gino got a kangaroo in his
kitchen. 3 roofs above me. Ceilings.
That Gino's pet kangaroo acting up again.
Yeah. Gino's got he's like the kangaroo's like, hop in my pouch, man.
Chandler, that's a
But-
kindergarten joke right there.
Bro,
Come
I
on.
mean, like, this is a kindergarten show. We're 23. What do you expect? Tuning in live.
22, dick.
Oh yeah, my bad.
All right, so
but long story short, yeah, back to the data. Yeah,
back
I mean, back to the data. I mean, absentee and owner occupied, they're both great. They work. We get deals from both. So
Right.
let's look up Big Emilio's hitting us a shout out over
Emilio,
here. A
the
lot of
legend.
a lot of gems. I almost said
dimes,
diamonds.
dropping dimes. What are we, point guard?
Gems. And then we also got our boy Gutham. Chandler, can you pronounce that
Yeah.
for us?
Don't maybe go with them. I think that's how you say it, right?
Gotham, yeah. Would you require consent for the text campaigns?
Would you require consent?
So let me actually take this because you put me on, Chandler. So by the way, thank you so much for introducing us to launch control, because that has been like insane for us. Like, we've done SMS for years, right? And like slowly we just saw it stop working. We're like, what the heck? We love SMS, right? Launch control that Chandler put us onto, they kind of take care of all that. So yes, you don't have to consent. There's all kinds of different requirements and things that you have to scrub and all kinds of different things. But the good thing is they kind of, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, they just kind of do it for you, or they set it up to where like you're not having to manually do all this stuff, right? So like you don't have to worry about being compliant because it's kind of, the system's already doing it. I guess you're kind of paying for it.
But the system is compliant.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely launch control has been great, and I'm hoping that doesn't stop.
Yeah, I agree. I think and here's my philosophy on texting is I think the way things are going is they're developing slowly enough to where people are going to be able to overcome and adapt to the changes that are being made, unless there's like some crazy laws that come out and just like put the stomp it down.
Right.
There's going to be some way to be compliant, and
of course,
it's just going to be less. Like, what's going to happen is instead of it being $1,000 cost per contract, it's going to be $3,000 cost per contract, but it's still going to be a thing. And it's just because it's going to get more competitive and more regular.
Well, yeah, you could always just text off a MacBook, give everyone a MacBook, and just have them iMessage everyone.
Sure.
You know,
that's true too. Texting is the best. One of the best things.
I just love how like you could wake up and be like, I'm gonna go find a deal right now. You know what I mean? Like call center, like I mean technically you could call people too right away, but like you have to get, unless you're gonna straight up cold call your own list right at that moment. Like
other people call.
Yeah. Like you could literally go text a list. Like I was excited today actually because we launched Vegas today, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the first batch go out, and then I was like, oh snap, this is about to be a deal right here. And I got so excited. I was like, that's the beautiful part about wholesaling. Like you can really just go, and with texting, it's just like automatic. You know what I mean? Like you can literally just like get a deal so quickly, and that's the best part about text. Now, don't get me wrong, like it's gonna come with a lot of BS. There's gonna be a lot of catfishers. There's gonna be a lot of
catfish.
All kinds of different things going on. We've had crazy things happen.
What kind of experiences you guys had?
Oh, we've had some crazy ones too.
Oh yeah. Dude. Oh man, all kinds of stuff. I don't know what
the craziest experience was.
Gina, you want to share ours with the cabin?
Yeah, we'll share. We're about to end up. We got 3 minutes here, but we'll go quick. So, yeah, this one's got to go really quick. So I'm trying to think how to make this go quick. Seller texted us, said they were the seller. We didn't know. Sent into our lead manager. We obviously called this person, and if we look back at the first call our lead manager had, they said, "Hey, is this I forgot what was the name, the real name?
Tim.
Let's say it was Tim. Hey, Tim. No, this is Corey. Oh, what, Corey? Do you want to sell your house on 123 Main Street? Yeah. Okay. Well, why is your name Tim? Well, that's my work name. Anyway, fast forward. We get this property under contract. It's a cabin right next to one of our AMs, like where he grew up. He's like, bro, this is a deal and a half. Like, I know exactly where this is.
It's like 17K is what the guy wanted.
Yeah, it's like $100K minimum deal. And we listened to the calls, like of him explaining the condition. He's like, yeah, there's, 2 outdoor sheds. There's this, like, it was accurate as hell. Perfect. It was an accurate description.
We went to the house.
Of the house. So wow. Chandler and Jared's the guy that lives by and the place, and they go up there and they're looking at the property because they're doing their walkthrough and not going inside.
We just wanted to go see because we were like,
the guy said like, just go and walk outside. No one lives there. And so Chandler and them walk around and they see a note on the front door that says like Tim you know,
And then it
whatever.
says
his full
phone,
name.
Sam emergency contact, then phone number. And
Phone
I was like, Jared, I was like, is this the same phone number as what's in Salesforce? He looks it up. He goes, nah. I said, dang, he must have changed his phone number.
Chandler's like, oh, he must say they're so happy that they think they got a deal. Long story
That's
short, I'm
hilarious.
in Germany. And that's when I'm in Germany, and Jared's actually visiting me. And we're like, bro, we're supposed to close in 2 days. We wired
like,
like a
wired the
day.
money.
We wired all the money to the closing table, like all this stuff. The attorneys have been in contact with them for like 2 weeks. And we're just about to close. We're trying to set up a mobile notary, and like 2 days in a row, he doesn't
He said
show
my
up.
house
to the
burned
spot.
down.
And then one day he's like, "Oh, my house just burned down. I need some money so I can meet
I
the
lost
mobile
my
notary."
IDs and I lost my IDs.
What?
Yeah, I
And,
lost my ID. Anyway, so it was a fake person, and I ended up finding.
Yeah.
I said,
You guys are
Chandler,
cat.
I didn't know the story behind these dummies, Jared and Chandler. I didn't know that they saw that number. And then, like when Jared was with me in Germany, he's like, "Well, there was one thing." I was like, "How can we find the owner?" He's like, "Well, we did see his number. I did take a picture of it."
Damn.
I said, "You dumbasses! You wasted 2 months of our time. All we had to do was call this number." I call that number. The guy answers, "No, I'm not selling my house."
Wow.
And so this was a 2-month process. I just summarized in 2
That
minutes.
was hilarious.
Those are the ones that hurt when you work months
boy,
on. But those are the
boys
ones that will
grinding
build.
on that.
Yeah.
That'll
Drove
build
up
your
there.
endurance. If you can get through some of those and then bounce back, that's how you'll make it.
Yeah, they drove up there, but that
That's
was a
hilarious.
crazy story.
That's scary.
But we're about to
Yeah, dude, because we could have given that guy the money. Like if we didn't do a notary,
Yeah.
like I guarantee you, like go to closing table, like the checks and balances at the closing table are definitely different.
Yeah, he didn't have his ID. He would have needed a fake ID.
So my next thing here, guys, is how can these people that are watching now and they're going to be watching the replay, how are they going to be able to reach out to you? How can they get a hold of you guys, or can you guys let them know?
Yeah. Facebook for Noah. I mean, I just changed my name here for the AG __ real estate. That's on Instagram. You can find me there. I'm also on Facebook.
And maybe any deals in Vegas, Florida. These guys got the buyers. You guys heard it. They got the funds. So
Vegas, Florida, Arizona, and Texas. If you guys have deals that are tight, send it. We can definitely. That's where we're
JV
really strong with our hedge funds right now. So
Instagram. Is there a way for us to share our Instagrams?
you can tell it to me. I'll post it.
It's just Noah C. Delana. So just my first name,
the
middle
C
name,
in between.
C, and then Delana. Delana, however you want to say it.
Just posted it there. What about you, Alex?
It's just my name. AG 2_ real estate.
A double underscore legend.
Double underscore.
Why double underscores? Just anything.
No, just
I had
there's
to be
enough
double
space for
underscores
you
too
guys.
with my name.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The other one was taken. That's why.
Me too,
Really?
dude. That's what happened to me. How did someone?
I'm
take
like, who
my
else?
name?
And then I couldn't find him. I'm like, who is the other AG real estate? Like,
How do you spell your last name?
Grigoriev, GRI.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
That's
a
a
whole
lot.
thing. Yeah,
If you just sign me up,
I'm gonna text you.
Yeah,
I just messaged it in here.
because I still, you
Yeah,
want to know what
you
your
would.
contact is, Alex, on my phone because I can't spell your last name. I just put Alex from CG.
Yeah,
That's
I always know you're Chandler CG as well. Actually, yeah.
Hey,
let's
that's
go,
right. I
dude.
like to hear.
Hey,
Hit them
let's
back.
go.
with it.
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. So, is there any last words you want to leave the listeners with? Any last tips, tricks, anything?
No, just reach out to us. Yeah, if anybody has deals that are tighter that you guys do need help, we're happy to help you guys sell them. Like I said, anywhere really, but especially Florida, Arizona, Texas, and Vegas. We can really get you guys a more competitive offer than you think.
Heck yeah, you guys heard it there. Reach out to the boys. Get the deal sold at 90%
Or
market
more.
value.
Or more.
And before we log off, I guess we should make a couple announcements. We have our event. If you're in Atlanta, have our event March 17th. Stephanie Better's going to be there to do a presentation.
Nice.
She does 200 plus deals a year in her investment company. She's got over 1,000 units. She created Left Main, which is an awesome CRM, Salesforce. Yep. And pretty much, and she's a part-time nurse, right? What kind of nurse is she, Gino?
She is a nurse
You
practitioner.
should know this.
Wow.
Nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
So she's actually
beast.
doing the surgeries or the practicing. She's practicing. The nurse.
Practicing nursing. Gotcha.
But anyways, long story short, the descriptions or the link to sign up is in our bios and our Instagrams. So go there, sign up for the event. We'll see you there. It's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Free.
It's completely free.
And Alec and Noah surfing his way out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You surf all the way to the Atlantic.
We can wake surf.
Mm-hmm. That's how I travel.
Imagine that. But
He goes
all
everywhere
right,
with a surfboard.
I like that. But all right, let's close this out, Chandler.
Yes, sir.
we'll see you.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Nice closeout, Chandler.
Yes,
See you
sir.